This is round 3 with Fosi Audio. They have released a brand new amplifier today, June 20th. Let's see if this is a value contender or another piece of cheap audio that will simply continue to swim in an ocean of ChiFi. While exploring the ChiFi market, you'll find it's a realm teeming with both alluring advantages and potential pitfalls. The most compelling benefit, undoubtedly, is the remarkable value for money these products tend to offer. Discovering high-quality audio gear that doesn't break the bank is a thrill anyone would appreciate. Now, the sheer variety in the ChiFi domain is considered a bonus. With such a broad spectrum of products, you're afforded the luxury of fine-tuning your choice based on particular sonic characteristics and aesthetic appeal. It's like having a buffet of audio gear at your fingertips. However, the flip side of this attractive coin is the risk associated with counterfeits, subpar technical design, and cheap off-the-shelf components. These potential drawbacks may deter some, yet many of us are willing to navigate these waters for the significant cost savings compared to Western alternatives. So, while the ChiFi market does have its share of challenges, the promise of finding that perfect blend of price and performance can make the journey worthwhile. My experience with companies like Fosi Audio has left a lasting impression. Their unique approach, particularly for a China-based hi-fi company, is refreshingly different. They actively encourage rigorous product testing and welcome genuine, honest feedback, embracing the good, the bad, and indeed the ugly. This rarity is something I do truly admire. It's clear that Fosi Audio is determined to distinguish themselves from their contemporaries. They're actively making strides to absorb valuable insights from Western perspectives like mine. It's an intelligent maneuver given the considerable cultural and operational differences between the US and China as well as other Eastern countries. The attempt to bridge these differences to create a synergy between the two distinct approaches to business and consumer expectations speaks volumes about Fosi Audio's vision. It's a bold move and a smart one at that, and I believe it could set a compelling example for other companies in the ChiFi market. A couple of months before its release, Fosi provided me with the V3 for a thorough examination, measurement, and testing phase. When comparing it to the TB10D, which I had previously evaluated, it's evident that Fosi has elevated their game with the V3. The unit's exterior exhibits a sleek, minimalist design that suits my aesthetic preferences perfectly. Its weightiness surpasses that of the TB10D, lending it a sense of quality that you can literally feel in your hands. Now, this might strike some as amusing, but for me, the knob is a telling sign of a company's dedication to user experience. It's one of those little details that, believe it or not, can speak volumes about a product. And in the case of the V3, the knob doesn't disappoint. It offers a clean, satisfying click and a smooth turn that adds to the overall sense of quality and thoughtfulness in design. In short, Fosi's V3 reflects a clear focus on enhancing user interaction, even down to the most minute details. When I took a peek under the hood, it became clear that Fosi's enhancements with the V3 weren't merely aesthetic only. They've truly upped their game by incorporating high-quality components into their design, including Japanese capacitors and inductors, as well as the highly esteemed German WEMA capacitors. Yet, the feature that genuinely captured my affection was the option to swap out the op-amps. While many may disagree, or most kind of disagree, I stand by my belief that changing the op-amps in compact components like these can make a discernible difference to the sound. So I put this to the test by replacing them with the Musa 02 op-amps, a brand that many of you probably immediately recognized. The process was not overly complex. A quick removal of 5 screws and a gentle pull on the chassis revealed where the op-amps live, conveniently located near the front. The original op-amps were quite firmly lodged and regrettably sustained some damage during extraction. However, I must say that their replacements seem to offer an auditory improvement, validating the effort. Setting up the V3 with a source device, DAC, or preamp was incredibly straightforward thanks to the RCA inputs being the only option on the back of the unit. The 5-way binding post felt a little bit I don't know, janky, but they did their job well enough. I was pleasantly surprised to spot a pre-out on the back, a thoughtful inclusion if you need to hook up a subwoofer or any other component. This little guy dances on the fence of being a fully fledged integrated amplifier. However, I suspect that Fosi deliberately kept things a little bit simple with the V3, choosing to concentrate on delivering better sound quality on this time around. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to surmise that the topping LA90 might have been a source of inspiration for this project. A nice-to-have feature that I felt was missing, however, was a volume bypass. It would have been a fantastic addition to the V3's capabilities. Perhaps we can look forward to seeing it in a future model. Something else I felt would have been helpful, just considering, are tone controls, since small amplifiers like these don't always come across neutral and need the help of a little adjustment. I did measure this amp over at Galusha's house, and it came back with interesting results. The lower harmonics were a bit agitated due to the provided power supply. However, the upper harmonics weren't actually that bad at all, especially in comparison to the previous amps from Fosi that I've tested. In my experience, numerous ChiFi manufacturers love to brag about extraordinary wattages and claim they possess exceptional signal-to-noise ratios, yet when put to the test, they often fall short of these claims. It's not uncommon to see these people brag about achieving peak power of 200 or even 300 watts, but there's usually a caveat. The power supplies provided with these units typically can't deliver the necessary juice to reach these crazy figures, so in the fine print of their marketing material, you'll often find a disclaimer stating that a more potent supply is needed to unlock the advertised power. So this $100 gem just doubled in price because a good clean power supply isn't exactly cheap. However, I'd caution against trying to push this little guy to the 300 watt mark it claims it can handle. Doing so would likely result in frying the amplifier completely and potentially damaging your speakers as well. So consider yourself forewarned. I don't know why these companies do this. Honestly. Well, I know why they do it. Because every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there wants tons of watts because that's what life has programmed them to believe. I can give fuck all about 300 watts, right? I have real amps that can do all that. All I need is for this little device to provide a healthy, 80 watts per channel. Clean power. No distortion, no bullshit marketing fluff. Just build me a tiny Class D amp with 80 watts clean. That's it. That's the golden blueprint for these little ChiFi amps. If they did that, the community would catch on and it would change the game completely. It would be a total feeding frenzy over these things. That's what the community eats up, are little holy grail items that provide abnormal results, almost paranormal results, at a value-centric price. Could you imagine a little $100 amp perfect for a desktop that could provide a really smooth sound signature for almost any smaller bookshelf you throw at it? We can all dream. When it comes down to it, the V3 stands head and shoulders above its counterparts. It's the top performer in its league, I would say. I like the build quality and measurements were decent. Would I recommend pairing it with power-hungry or overly bright speakers? Absolutely not. This unit's optimal home, in my view, would be on a desktop paired with efficient speakers, near field, no further than 5 or possibly 6 feet away, and even that might be a bit of a stretch. The volume should also be on the lower side. This advice stems from the fact that the V3, like many ChiFi amps, leans towards brightness. The sound tends to feature a pronounced mid-range, often at the expense of bass. Hence, as I mentioned earlier, tone control is essential. Paired with a suitable preamp and a good source in DAC, the V3 could very well find a permanent spot in anyone's setup, particularly for those working with a tighter budget. If you're considering an amp in this category, I'd say that the V3 is the one to buy. It surpasses the TB10D and outshines anything that AIMA and FX Audio have to offer at this price point. For an ideal budget-friendly system, consider combining the V3 with the FX Audio Tube 03 preamp and a topping E30 DAC. This trio would provide a comprehensive, affordable solution for a desktop audio setup. Enjoyed the video? Got something from it? Consider stealing a kiss from the like button.
This magic
Little pervert! Oh man, he's a deep shit.
Subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to get notified every time a new video is born. With all that said and done, I will see you on the next one, friends. Take care.